and welcome to this edition of Healthy Habits. I'm your host, Amie Davis. With us today is registered dietitian and director of the Nourishing Wellness Center in Redondo Beach, Jeanne Peters. And today she's going to be giving us the ins and outs of shopping for organic produce on a budget. Jeanne, hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, love to be here.
Jeanne, so many of us know it's important to buy and eat organic food, but not all of us know exactly why. So could you maybe get into detail and shed some light on that for us?
Well, I think the biggest issue right now is pesticides, the amount of pesticides that are found in our food. And by nature, pesticides are designed to kill insects, plants, fungi. But what we're finding right now is that the greater the amounts that people are getting, it has an impact. It has an impact on their health. And one of the biggest issues that have been found in independent research on the impact of pesticides is the fact that it affects the brain and the nervous system. It can create and generate certain cancers, and it disrupts the endocrine system. And then finally, just people that are exposed, feel like there's irritation around the eyes, the skin, the nervous system, the lungs. So it has an impact.
Scary stuff. I think many of us might be a little alarmed to hear this information. And for some of our viewers, maybe they feel like they can't afford to shop organically, so they're just not going to buy fruits and vegetables altogether after hearing this. So what would you recommend for people that are facing that issue?
Well, definitely I would recommend that they continue to eat fruits and vegetables, because the benefits of fruits and vegetables, the fiber, the phytochemicals found in the color so far outweigh some of the risk of the pesticides. But it's also wise to shop smart. And so today, one of the things that I'm looking forward to sharing with your listeners is about the independent group called Environmental Working Group that developed a list based on the pesticide amount in common fruits and vegetables that consumers eat, so that people can make better choices about the ones that have the least amount of pesticides.
Or the most.
Right.
That's really exciting. I've been looking forward to getting to this list you're mentioning. So can you tell us a little bit about what this list is, where we could find it, and what it means to our consumers to have it?
Yeah, well, first of all, the group is the Environmental Working Group. It's a third-party watchdog group, and they analyzed the USDA data on pesticides found in common fruits and vegetables. And what they did is they looked at the ones that were the fruits and vegetables that had the most amount of pesticides and the ones that had the least. And then they generated a list. And so they call it the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So we're going to go through that today and help consumers become a little bit more aware of how they can use that dollar that they have and shop more wisely.
So there's hope for people. What you're saying is that want to buy organic produce maybe can't afford to buy it all.
It's a big issue.
Great. Can you go into the first list?
Sure.
Give us the bad news first. What's this Dirty Dozen?
So this is the Dirty Dozen, and every year strawberries makes the list. They're always usually the first one, because strawberries grow close to the ground, and there's as many as 10 to 17 pesticides that are applied to strawberries. And because we eat the whole strawberry, we're getting all of that.
Right, we're not cutting off the skin.
Yeah, so this is definitely one that if you can, go organic.
And I imagine because it's so porous, it's absorbing right into that fruit.
And in fact, actually all of these are. So if you look at this, like cucumbers make the list, apples are always on the list, tomatoes for sure, because you're eating all of that, and the skin, like you said, is part of the consumption. Peaches, nectarines, they're definitely on the list. Celery, because it's like 90% water.
Wow.
So, a lot of the water. And then grapes, also very watery fruit. Peppers, bell peppers made the list. So,
and there's a few on the list that aren't here, right?
Right, things that are just out of season. So I think, we couldn't find
a nectarine.
We couldn't find cherries, because they have a short season.
Okay.
But the idea here is, if you can, shop organically for these.
Those 12 products. And so what about the people that think maybe we can just rinse off the apple or rinse off the strawberry and get the pesticides off? Because I know even kind of my family has said that to me a few times. Just rinse them off, wash it off, you're fine. Is that true?
It really isn't. Unfortunately, it gets into the tissue. So it's actually found in all of it. It's systemically. So it's not like you can just rinse it off and you're going to be safe.
Yeah, I'm sure some comes off, but what you're saying is especially the ones that...
A little bit maybe, but not enough to be able to really justify having these other than being organic.
Got it. Well, give us the good news.
Yeah,
What's this Clean 15 list?
Okay, so this is what's interesting here. All of the ones that made here, which include pineapple and melons and like a cantaloupe and your onions, your avocado, they have a thick skin. You're not eating the skin. So that by its nature protects this. So that's something to bear in mind.
So that already kind of eliminates some of the
some of the pesticides. And then you've got things like, asparagus made the list this year, cauliflower, peas, cabbage, grapefruit, eggplant, mango.
There was papaya and a couple of things that were not in season. That's why they're not pictured.
Right, but that's actually wise. We don't necessarily want to buy all fruits and vegetables all year long, because the more that we're getting, that more pesticides have to be applied in order
the ones
to have
that are out of season.
Yeah,
right?
like for example, strawberries, to be able to get them in the middle of the winter, there's pesticides that have to be applied in order to be able to grow them. So
Makes sense.
that makes sense to just look at seasonal vegetables.
I see that you printed out a list.
Right.
This is going to cover, it's going to talk about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, and you laminated it.
Yeah, you can go to the website and actually download this. It's www.ewg for Environmental Working Group.org, and you can get this list, and you could laminate it. So if you're somebody who wants to just carry this with you, so you remember when you're shopping, that you could actually stretch your dollar, your produce dollar.
And that's important that you say that, because for myself, I'm on a budget and I like to get as much organic produce as I can, but I can't always afford it. So I know it's a little bit more work, but I recommend going to Whole Foods for small stuff like meats, Trader Joe's for the bulk of it, because you really can get a lot of, most of our organic produce we got here from Trader Joe's, and believe it or not, farmers markets. You can get in-season produce, the farmers markets, for a lot cheaper. Usually you can get a better deal, right?
You'll find me at the El Segundo Farmers Market every Thursday night.
Well, thank you so much, Jeannie. This information has been really helpful. I can't wait to go on the line and print out my list and keep them in my wallet. I'm looking forward, because even I don't remember all this stuff, and I'm pretty on top of it. So.
Yeah, great. I'm glad you brought me out so that we could share this with your listeners.
Thank you. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Healthy Habits. We'll see you next time.